It's going to be a little sound test. If you are in the back of the room, can you raise your hand if you can hear me? Okay, so you guys can hear me? The volume is good? All right. I'll try it again. Is that any better? Is that better? Okay, good. I just want to make sure everybody can hear us. It should be better once everybody settles down here.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you for coming out tonight. It's great to see such a full room for our Gahanna Candidate Forum. My name is Elizabeth Grieser. I am with the League of Women Voters of Metropolitan Columbus. Welcome to this Meet the Candidates Forum for Gahanna races. We hope that this will provide you information for the upcoming November election. First, I'd like to thank Gahanna Area Chamber of Commerce for co-sponsoring this event and really helping with all the details. Please make sure you have a voting plan for the November 7th elections. Early in-person voting is starting October 11th at the Franklin County Board of Elections on Morse Road. If you want to vote by mail, you must submit a written absentee ballot request form to the Board of Elections. Election day is November 7th. You can verify election day polling places by contacting the Franklin County Board of Elections office. In addition to candidate forums, our league publishes a voter guide in which candidates provide written answers to questions. Our voter guide will be available, or actually is available now, online at vote411.org. And I believe all candidates running for office in Gahanna have responded to our questionnaire, so thank you very much. That is up there right now, as well as information on issues. There will be hard copies of that guide available in local libraries. The League of Women Voters is dedicated to expanding public awareness about government issues and encouraging active participation League does not support or oppose political parties or candidates. Please visit our website to learn more about the League or to become a member. Thank you. Now I'm going to turn this event over to tonight's moderator, Brad Fisher, Executive Director of the Gahanna Area Chamber of Commerce.
All right, good evening, everybody. Is Gahanna not one of the most wonderful communities in all of Ohio? I want to thank you all for participating in tonight's event, especially our candidates. I know you all are going crazy with this election cycle, and there's a lot of activity that you're involved in. So it means a lot to our community that you will take the time out of your day to come here and give us a chance to hear from you. So most of you who have seen me before, I'm terrible at sticking to scripts, but I have a script here that I've been told I should read. So we're going to go ahead and read this. Tonight, each candidate will have a 1-minute introductory statement, okay? And then we will have some questions, and you'll also have 1 minute to answer those questions. Karen Wester has agreed to be our timer. Raise your hand, Karen. So if you are a candidate tonight, you're going to be looking in the front row. And we also have Lul, who is going to hold up our timer signs. So once we start the clock, you'll get down to 30 seconds. We'll let you know you have 30 seconds. And then when you have 15 seconds, you'll have 15 seconds. And then at that point, I have the power to cut you off and stop you from speaking so that we can go on. So most of you know that we have 4 races that we're going to try to jam pack into tonight's program. We have the Gahanna City Attorney, the Gahanna Mayor, Gahanna City Council, and Gahanna Jefferson School Board. So we have a lot to squeeze in here, but we're going to get it done. We have pre-written questions, but many of you have received a little card that if you want to write down a question of your own for any of the candidate races tonight, you can write those down, and I believe it's Jennifer, raise your hand, is going to be collecting those. So throughout the night, if you think of a question, you can bring it up to her. The Ohio League of Women Voters will go through those and pick the ones that are most important to our community. We'll try to get rid of duplicate questions, etc. So with that, we are going to go ahead and get started. And our first candidate, meet the candidate, is our city attorney race. So Ray Malarski, if you would go ahead and come on up here. And Maria Taylor-Ellison. Oh, you know what? I screwed up. See, I told you I wasn't very good at sticking to a script. So if you guys could just stand by for about 5 minutes. We are very fortunate to have Pat Lasinski, who is the CEO of the Columbus Library System. So Pat, would you please come up here and talk about what's going on?
Well, good evening. My name is Ray Malarski. I will say very quickly to add to the wonderful community of Gahanna. There'll be more publicity soon, but about 10 days ago, with the statewide Institute of Architects annual event, they named the People's Choice building, not among libraries, among all buildings, your new Gahanna Library. So I know you're busy. I'll try to make this quick. The Columbus Metropolitan Library does have a new levy on the ballot in the November election. It is a 1.5 mil levy. This is the first levy that we have had in 13 years. The last time we were on the ballot was 2010, and we told the voters at that time that we would not come back for at least 10 years, and we have made it 13 years. We've tried to deliver a great product to everyone. We're proud of the work that we've done, but oftentimes the library levy can be forgotten because there's so much time in between. Realizing some of our voters were 5 years old the last time we were on the ballot. So, that is part of the education process that we have. So 1.5 mil levy will cost $53 on $100,000 worth of assessed valuation. And, part of what I want to make sure that I cover tonight is the fact that the levy really funds all aspects of the library. So if you think about library materials, you think about library programs, you think about the technology that we provide, any work that we do on facilities, all of that comes from the levy. We try to be responsible and be good stewards of that. I'll also tell you that during the same period of time, we've had an active foundation. So we don't look just to the taxpayers, and I can tell you that that active foundation over the last 13 years raised $40 million. That means without their help, we take away 3 of the building projects, and that could have been Gahanna. I tell you that only because we try to think holistically about the opportunities for us and not just to rely on the levy. And then obviously the levy is important to us. You can check out materials, but you probably don't think that 1.9 million reservations are made every year to use the internet or to use Wi-Fi in the library. That's activity that happens. The summer reading program, the after-school help centers, the third grade reading volunteer program after school. The fact that 13 of our locations actually serve the summer lunch program, because guess what? Kids who are on the school year lunch program, they're hungry in June and July and August as well. The library steps in. And sometimes I'm asked, why does the library keep expanding its program? We are in response to the community that comes forward. So part of what we've seen in the last decade is so many people coming forward for social service help. We don't employ social service professionals, but we do have an active internship program with Ohio State. So they are actually in our locations to help make those referrals to people who are seeking them. And we see that as a win-win-win. The customers get the help they need. We're providing that community service, but the interns are getting a great line on their resume as well. We don't really want to talk about COVID anymore, but I can tell you during COVID, we distributed in our 23 locations 350,000 test kits. We tried to step up to help the community when they needed it the most with curbside delivery, more electronic services. So I just would ask that you think about all of the services that the library provides, the fact that we're not in front of you very often, and obviously at the end of the day, we ask for your support on November 7th. Thank you.
Thank you, Pat. And by show of hands, who's been to the new library? Isn't it amazing? Really nice. Thanks for being here again, Pat. So now, Ray and Priya, you guys can come on up, and we will get the program started. So you guys are each going to have to go ahead and have a seat wherever you like. And you guys are going to have to be friendly because you're going to have to pass the microphone. Okay? It's already on. So what we're going to do is we've got a couple of questions, but you each are going to start with an opening statement. I get to choose who goes first, so I'm going to start with Priya. You're going to have 1 minute. Again, Karen is the timer, and Lul over there has the sign. So when you're down to 30 seconds, she's going to put that up. And when you're down to 15 seconds, she's going to flip the sign, and you'll see 15 seconds. And then at that point, if you're running late, I'm going to stop you. Okay? So we're going to start with Priya. If you could go ahead and give us your opening statement, again, running for City Attorney of Gahanna.
Would you like me to remain seated? Or?
It's up to you. You can stand or sit. It's up to you.
Hello and good evening, everyone. My name is Priya Tamilarison, and I am running for Gahanna City Attorney. I am qualified, I am dedicated, and I am prepared to do the hard work necessary to bring forward positive change here in Gahanna. This community is dynamic and diverse. It is not the same place it was 30 years ago, and we need to adapt to keep up. The Office of the City Attorney needs more transparency and better due process rights for those in Mayor's Court. I am committed to ensuring that there will be no secret settlement agreements, that ordinances and policies will be proactively and swiftly reviewed and prepared as necessary, and I will ensure that every person that comes before Mayor's Court will be treated fairly and equally. I am Priya Tamilarison. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Ray Milarski. I am your city attorney. For 35 years, I've been prosecuting criminals and protecting this city. I've lived here my whole life, and I've seen this city grow to where it is today. I've dedicated my life to this city, and I will continue to do so. I have been a community service volunteer for 20 years for the Blues and Jazz Fest, for a lifetime member of Kiwanis, and raised over $40,000 for Children's Hospital. I have been for almost 4 decades, 1 year short, representing the residents of the city of Gahanna for legal purposes. For an attorney, experience is everything, and I have the experience. I am the person who has taken care of this city for the last 4 years as their city attorney, and I will continue to do so if you choose to re-elect me. Thank you. I'm Ray Milarski, your Gahanna city attorney.
Thank you. With that, we're going to move into a couple of questions. We'll switch it up. So, Ray, I'm going to have to make you stand up here again. But before I get into the questions, in light of the fact that we are under a pretty serious time crunch to get all of these candidate forums in, we're going to ask that you refrain from clapping after each answer to a question, okay? So, just do your best to restrain yourself. Ray Milarski, why is public service important to you and to the community?
Thank you. This community has given me so much, and I want to give back to it. I think public service is the way to do that. I've had an established practice here as a lawyer for almost 40 years, but part of that a big part of that has been part of being the prosecutor for Gahanna for 35 years and being the city attorney for the last 4. Now, once I achieved decently in my practice, that's when I decided that it was time for me to run for city attorney and for me to give back. So I am giving back to this community to show them that I appreciate all that they have done for me and what I have achieved through this, and I think that this is how I handle that. Thank you.
Thank you, Ray. And same question to you, Priya. Why is public service important to you and to the community?
Thank you. Public service is important to me because helping others is a core value that I believe in. That raising each other up through our own efforts is important and crucial in this community, to help each other however we can. And I feel that I am uniquely suited to help this community as Gahanna's city attorney. I provide a new perspective as the first woman and the first person of color who would ever serve in this office. I provide a new perspective to bring positive change and to identify the areas where we need improvement in this community. And so my dedication to public service has always been throughout my life. As a practicing attorney in this community, I have dedicated my life to helping others overcome adversity and finding hope in what is usually the worst time of their life. And so now I am prepared to bring forward my experience and qualifications to this office as Gahanna's city attorney. Thank you.
Thank you, Priya. All right. And you might as well stay standing because I'm going to put you up next. So question number 2 for you folks is, what is your top priority once you take office?
My top priority once I take office is to bring reform to mayor's courts. We need improved due process in this system, and we need to ensure that all the people that come before Gahanna's mayor's court is treated fairly and equally. I will institute formal diversion programs that include screening all cases to ensure that the appropriate cases are diverted out of the court system and to ensure that everyone has equal opportunities for that program. I will also fight to use a public defender to represent the rights of all people who come before mayor's court to ensure that they are treated fairly and are educated about their rights and the whole mayor's court process. Thank you.
Thank you, Priya. Okay. And Ray will give you a chance to answer the same question. What is your top priority once you take office?
My top priority is to continue what I've been doing for the last 4 years. I've been protecting this city, and I've been making sure that our decisions that we make are firm, accurate, fair, and protect all of our citizens of Gahanna. Now, as far as the mayor's court goes, as what I heard, we cannot have public defenders out in mayor's court. That's fiscally not possible. Public defenders don't come to mayor's court, and that would mean we would have to hire someone. Well, we pay public defenders $24 a case. There's not an attorney in this state, including everyone in this room, that would agree to do a case for $25. So that's not a possibility. So just saying things that sound good don't make them happen. I make things happen. I haven't lost a case yet as a city attorney for any decisions that I've been a part of, and I will continue with that. Thank you.
Thank you. No clapping, I heard that. All right, so we've got a question from the audience here. And so once again, Ray, I'm going to have you stand up once again. And keep in mind, keep that microphone pretty close to your mouth, because when you pull it down, people can't hear you. So here's the question. Can you explain in your own words the key responsibility of a city attorney?
The responsibility of a city attorney is to make sure that the city doesn't get sued, or if they do, that they win. It's also to make sure that all the financial commitments that the city entered into are done appropriately and that we are best protected from that. That is the biggest part of what happens as a city attorney. The prosecuting is a major portion of it, but it's not even 60%. I read contracts every single day to make sure that this city is protected. I change those contracts every single day to make sure this city is protected. So I believe that the best thing you can do for this city is to make sure that it's protected and that all of the citizens are taken care of. Not just a small group, all 36,000 people are taken care of with whatever decisions you make. Thank you.
Thank you, Ray. I'm not sure, but getting cut out there on the microphone a little bit, so I pulled the thing a little closer. Hopefully that helps. Priya, same question. Explain in your own words what is the key responsibility of a city attorney?
Thank you. The role of city attorney is to defend and prosecute on behalf of the city. But I think the crux and the main critical component of being the city attorney is to properly advise the city, to advise both council as well as the mayor about anything that's going on or coming up before the city for consideration. So whether that's reviewing ordinances or drafting policies, whether that's being proactive and reviewing legislation that's already in place, it is to advise appropriately and responsibly the city. And it also includes making sure to manage the budget of the office of the city attorney appropriately and to not always depend upon outside counsel to do the job that you were tasked to do. And so as city attorney, I would re-examine the budget of the city attorney, especially to create funds available for which to hire a public defender. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Priya. And now we're going to move into closing statements. So I'll start with Priya. Go ahead, and you've got 1 minute for a closing statement.
Again, my name is Priya Tamilarison, and I am running to be the next Gahanna city attorney because it is time for change. If you want more of the same for the last 30 years or the last 4 years, then I am not the person for you, because I am here to examine what needs change and to bring those changes forward, including improving transparency and communication with residents to ensure that everyone knows what's going on in this city, not just select individuals. I would make it my mission to make sure that there is transparency and accountability in this office. And lastly, I would make sure that there is reform to mayor's court for everyone to have due process. Thank you.
Thank you, Priya. And Ray, closing statement.
Thank you. Gahanna has maybe the best run mayor's court in Franklin County. Every attorney who comes there says so, and it's because we've been doing it right for a long time. Now, I'm not sure about change. I've been in this office less than 4 years, but during those 4 years, I've learned and I've grown. As I said, I've been an attorney for almost 40 years. That's a lot of experience, and that's what Gahanna needs. It's that experience that makes it so that I can defend First Amendment right issues for freedom of speech, which unless you've handled that before, you can't handle that. It's that experience that makes sure that I can defend sewer issues, CRAs, TIFs, all those issues that I'm sure most of you have never heard of before. But those are the issues that come before the city attorney, and those are the issues that have to be dealt with on a daily basis. So as your city attorney, I will continue to do that, and I look forward to having your vote come this November. Thank you.
All right, now you can give a round of applause. Thank you very much. All right, from there, go ahead. We're going to move into our mayoral race. So if I could have Mayor Lori Jadwin and Mr. Steve Brown come up to the table. Go ahead, round of applause. While they're coming up, I'm just going to walk over here because eventually we're going to have a bunch of candidates, and I just want to make sure the mics work all the way over here. Okay, looks like they do. So, okay.
I'm gonna test this mic.
Testing. Just going to test this mic as well. Looks like it's working. Okay. All right, good. All right. Pardon the technical difficulties, folks. Well, welcome to both of you. Thank you for taking time out of your evening to be here. So we are going to do the same thing that we did with our city attorney folks. We're going to give you guys an opportunity for an opening statement. So Steve, since you're sitting right to my left here, I'll give you the chance to do an opening statement first. 1 minute.
Good evening. I would like to thank the League of Women Voters, the Chamber of Commerce for hosting this event this evening. My name is Steve Brown, and I'm running to become the next mayor of Gahanna. My wife and I have been residents of Gahanna for the past 19 years, and we've raised our 2 daughters in this community from elementary school to eventually graduating from Gahanna Lincoln High School. I have over 35 years of leadership experience at the federal, state, and local levels of government, including 31 years served in the United States Army. And I am committed to providing the necessary leadership to advance our community toward building a better Gahanna.
Thank you, Steve. And Lori, go ahead.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Lori Jadwin, and I've had the distinct honor of serving as your mayor for the last 4 years. 31 years ago, my husband Jay and I chose Gahanna as the place to call our home. Both of our daughters were born and raised in Gahanna, and we were very proud Gahanna Jefferson parents who were actively involved in their schooling as well as in our church community. Serving Gahanna has been at the heart of my life for more than 25 years, as I've been actively involved in volunteering in our community and in working hand in hand with our businesses. 4 years ago, Gahanna's potential was unrecognized, but today I am proud to say that the city's potential is now becoming a reality. People around Central Ohio are again talking about Gahanna. From rebuilding roads to replacing playgrounds, investing in our police, attracting new businesses, and helping existing businesses to grow, our community is thriving. I humbly ask for your support to continue the work that we can do together to build a stronger Gahanna. Thank you.
Thank you, Lori. You're going to continue with our first question of the night. How do you represent the diverse perspective of Gahanna citizens?
Absolutely. Well, I think Gahanna is very proud to be one of the most diverse communities within the Central Ohio area, not only racially, but from a socioeconomic standpoint. One of the ways that we engage our communities is to meet them where they are. The best way to do that is to engage our community through all our communication mechanisms, but be out in the community. That's why I make it a priority to be at events, to be engaging with our homeowners associations, to be engaging with our church communities, to talk with them so I can hear one-on-one what their concerns are and how we can help everyone, every single person in this community to thrive and grow, including our small business community, which represents about 92% of our economy. We've had multiple grand openings, ribbon cuttings in this city, and the majority of them have been women-owned businesses, Black-owned businesses, veterans-owned businesses. We're doing something right if we're continuing to grow here.
Thank you, Mayor Jadwin. Okay. And then we're going to move on to question number 2. Let's see. Oh, I I didn't give you a chance. Maybe I should give you a chance. Yeah, sorry, I got distracted. I got a bunch more questions. Steve, go ahead and answer that same question. So the question is, how do you represent the diverse perspectives of Gahanna citizens?
The diverse perspectives of Gahanna is one of the main reasons why I'm running. I think our diversity needs to be upgraded. When I talk about diversity, when people hear diversity, they think about skin color. And that's not what diversity is. Diversity in Gahanna are our seniors, our business workers, all of us together working. So to bring that forward, we must think forward. We must do things differently. We must do things timely. We must be responsive to everyone. And that includes getting the word out, making sure everyone in our community knows how good we are, not just a few.
All right, thank you, Mr. Brown. All right, now we will move on to our next question, and I'm considering letting you both answer it this time. So question number 2 is the Mid-Ohio Regional Planning Commission estimates that at least 3 million more people will reside in Central Ohio by 2050. What is the city's role in addressing this increase in population? And we're going to start with you, Steve.
Yes, the reliable data, I'm going to read this a little bit, analytics, shows that drives Gahanna infrastructure is the number of people that are coming in. How do we do that? Well, part of my platform is making sure that our young people, our 3,000 students at Gahanna Lincoln are prepared for the jobs that are coming. Also, we need to look at housing affordability because individuals want to work or want to live where they work. So with the land that we have, the opportunities that we have, it is very important that we address it.
Thank you, Steve. Lori, same question. I'm going to repeat the question for you. The Mid-Ohio Regional Planning Commission estimates that at least 3 million more people will reside in Central Ohio by 2050. What is the city's role in addressing this increase in population?
Thank you. So the WARC numbers projected 3 million people by 2050. It's now up to 3.15 million people by 2050. That was before the Intel announcement. We've known that housing was a crisis in the Central Ohio region before Intel. That has only accelerated the situation. What we need to do in order to be vibrant as a community is we need to continue to be able to attract jobs and businesses here, which means we need to be able to add residents here. People want to live and work in the same community together. They don't want to have to travel anymore. Gone are the days of the 45-minute commutes. Making sure that we can add housing. We don't have land. We can't add single-family neighborhoods, which means we need to redevelop and we need to infill. That means we're building up, not around. Having a strategic approach to that to make sure that we can manage our infrastructure, that we can upgrade our infrastructure for that purpose, and that we can engage our regional partners as we challenge that growth regionally is a top priority and something that we've already been working on.
Thank you, Lori. Okay, and now we're going to move into a couple of questions from the audience. Lori, we'll start with you. Do you or will you have a protocol for concerned citizens to discuss city issues with you?
Yes and yes. So we do have a protocol right now. I mean, first of all, I take phone calls, emails from residents all the time. I've met with residents over things such as I'm upset over the fact that my neighbor has their trash can in their driveway, to what kind of business are we going to have in the community. I always make time to meet with residents, and again, I mentioned earlier, engage within the community as well with regard to homeowners associations, resident meetings one-on-one. In terms of our new website, we've made it easier, which just launched yesterday, made it easier for people to reach out directly, to engage. We also hold town halls. We're going to be starting podcasts very shortly, and we have several new programs planned for next year that would further expand the communication methods that we have within the city.
Thank you, Lori. Steve, same question. Do you or will you have a protocol for concerned citizens to discuss city issues with you?
Of course, yes and yes. Not only have I served 31 years in the military, I'm also an educator, a principal in middle school, Dominion Middle School, with 750 middle students. That's what I do. So you can only imagine the information and the communication that has to be dealt out daily. Columbus City Schools has over 50,000 students, 50,000 students that we move on our buses, 30,000 of them. So the communication is very, very important. Communication is not just a protocol, it's a mindset. If you care about your residents, it will become a priority and it will happen. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Steve. And you'll be up again for our next question here. Prior to running for mayor, how have you been involved in our community? What have you done to progress our city forward?
A lot of my time has been spent away from my family, doing deployments. And that's one of the main reasons why I feel dedicated to serve our city. Because your city, our city, served my family, took care of my family. The schools wrapped their arms around my kid while I was in my children, I should say, my two daughters, while I was in Iraq. So I feel dedicated to give back to my community. I would like to say that.
Hold it straight out in front of you like this.
Okay.
There you go.
I lost my train of thought.
No,
But, okay.
We'll give you an extra 15 seconds, so just finish up.
Okay, I get an extra 15 seconds. Okay, so I'd like to say that I'm very dedicated to serving our community, and I'm very committed to doing the things that we need to get done here and doing them timely. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Steve. So same with you. If you hold the mic like this, it works better than if you hold it like this. So you
Like
got to
this.
talk straight into it. So all the future candidates who are going to be up here a little bit, you see how I'm doing this?
You're playing
That's
the
how you want to
clarinet.
use it, okay?
My band days.
All right. All right, so Mayor Jadwin, how have you been involved in our community prior to running for mayor, and what have you done to progress our city forward?
Well, we'll talk about prior to becoming mayor. So, as I mentioned earlier, serving Gahanna has been in the heart of me and my family as well for about 25 years. Besides being active in our school community, we were part of the leadership team building a new St. Matthew's Church back in 2004, 2006 when that happened. From a community perspective, I've been involved in volunteering for this community. I served as a member of the Gahanna Chamber of Commerce Board, a member of the board on Gahanna Community Improvement Corporation, helping further economic development initiatives. I served on the Charter Review Commission for Gahanna. I was a board president for Visit Gahanna and then served as the executive director of Visit Gahanna for 7 years, where I marketed and promoted this city and all of our small businesses around the state of Ohio and beyond, and represented Gahanna's interest as the president of the statewide association. Gahanna is my home. I love Gahanna. I'm proud of Gahanna, and I want to see Gahanna be the best that it can be, and my life has been dedicated to that since we've lived here.
Thank you, Lori. Okay, and then you're going to continue, Lori. This question's a little bit vague, but there have been significant issues with land usage in the city. How will you deal with such issues in the future?
So we had a land use plan that was adopted in 2019 following extensive community input. Just this past weekend, we are currently, for about the last year and a half, we've been involved in rewriting our zoning code, because making sure that we have the development that we want and this community further grows in a manner that our community wants is extremely important. Our zoning code was written in the late 1950s. It needs to be modernized to reflect today's interests. So Sunday we had extensive public engagement. There's a survey available online right now to gather our community's input so that our community can help shape what they want to see in this community. So I think that's the best way to address our land use plans is relying on what the community has told us that they want.
Okay, thank you, Lori. And Steve, same question. There have been significant issues with land usage in the city. How will you deal with such issues in the future?
I think it all starts with planning. And I intend to work with our residents to build a smart business development plan. Our plan will create a unique identity for Gahanna. This plan, when it being designed, has to be transparent. It has to be an inclusive design process. This way, we'll be able to make sure that we bring in the businesses that we want. We're able to use the land the way it's intended, and we have a lot of work to get that done. So planning, strategic planning with our residents is how we'll get that done.
All right, thank you, Steve. And last question for you two tonight. We'll start with Steve here. What are your thoughts on Gahanna's budget? Are there items that you would increase or decrease funding for?
I've taken a look at the budget, and one of the glaring things that I saw is when we budget for something, we actually spend half of what we budgeted. So that made me think, are we over budgeting or what's going on? And it came to me is that because we have so much turnover going on in our city today, city employees, we're only able to get half of what we've done. So if that has been going on, and I just looked at this fiscal year, that has been going on for 3 years, you can imagine how far we are behind. So one thing I have to do is I have to make sure that we are aligned with all our city workers to make sure we hit our budget on track.
All right, thank you, Steve. And Lori.
One of the things that we've done under my leadership over the last 3.5 years is really change and update our budget process. Because in the past, that's exactly what would happen is people would budget, projects wouldn't get done, they'd hold the money for years and things wouldn't move forward. We don't do that anymore. What we do now is we meet with every single director, we talk with them about what their plans are for their project, but we also talk about what the capacity is of their staff to move those projects forward. If they cannot justify being able to move those projects forward, the money doesn't go in the budget. We're in the middle of the 2024 budget process right now. I can tell you we spent all week long in budget meetings. If I had my druthers that could invest in anything that I would want to, I'd want to invest first of all in our police to make sure that this community remains a safe community. I'd also want to further invest in our human capital. That is one thing that we have successfully done just recently is we've been able to invest in our human capital, which was long deferred. You lose people when you are asking one person to do 4 and 5 jobs and you're paying them $30,000 less than the municipality down the road. We have fixed that problem by reviewing and analyzing our salaries, adjusting our salaries, and making sure that our staff members are compensated consistently with our peer communities.
All right, thank you, Lori. And with that, we're going to just have our closing statements. So, Lori, I'll turn it back over to you. You've got 1 minute for a closing statement.
Thank you very much. So, in the face of unprecedented challenges, I have shown you who and what I am as a leader. In my first weeks in office, our community faced a global pandemic, economic turmoil, historic flooding, and social unrest. And on top of that, we had to address years and decades of neglected infrastructure. Passing issue 12 was just the first step because it provided us with the funding that we needed. But it's the next step that set me apart as a leader, and that was making sure that we strategically invested our valuable taxpayer dollars to maximize those investments in our city. We not only have met these challenges head on, but we also delivered lasting positive results for today and for tomorrow for our community. We're forging ahead. We're building a safe, thriving community with smart approach to growth and development. Momentum's on our side, and now is not the time to bring that momentum to a halt and start all over again. I humbly and respectfully ask for your support to continue to work together to build a stronger Gahanna together. Thank you.
Thank you, Lori. And Steve, closing statement.
I believe Gahanna deserves a leader who is qualified, experienced, and committed. During my military career, I've held positions in human resources, operations, training, transportation management, and logistics. I am both qualified and experienced. But more importantly, I'm committed to principled leadership. Leadership which relies upon honesty, integrity, and trust to build a better Gahanna. Again, my name is Steve Brown, the qualified, the experienced, and committed choice for Mayor of Gahanna. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Round of applause for our mayoral candidates. All right. We are going to move on to our Gahanna City Council race. So can I have Jamil Jones, Ross Goldsmith, Marissa Bowers, Nancy McGregor, Jason Rourke, and Betty Collins. If you could all come up and find a chair.
And if anyone has questions for City Council they'd like to submit, Now is a great time to submit them to Mary in the purple shirt there. Setting you up in alphabetical order. Oop.
Don't trip. Oh, sure.
No, you're fine.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you for my name. Is that me? Yeah, that's you.
All right, I believe Jason was not able to be here at the last minute, so it'll just be the five of you tonight. So just as we did previously, we're going to start with opening statements. So I'm going to just start right on this end of the table. We'll go down, and each question I'm going to start with the next person down. So it's already on, Marissa. All you got to do is talk into it. And remember, this is how you want to hold your mic, right like that. Marissa Bowers, opening statement.
Thank you and good evening. My name is Marissa Bowers and I'm running for re-election to Gahanna City Council. Before I get started, I want to take a moment and send my wishes to Jason Work. He's in my thoughts, and so I just hope that he's okay. In my first 4 years, I've delivered impactful results and delivered on the promises that I committed to the residents to deliver. I put residents first by funding public safety initiatives, leading fair housing policy to stabilize households in our community, and advocating for better job growth, not just any jobs, but jobs with competitive wages and benefits in our community. I strengthened public trust by delivering on my promise to engage in constituent hours, constituent reports, and making myself accessible to our residents. We also have expanded use of technology and leveraged new ways for our residents to engage with City Council, including a public upload portal for video comment. Thank you to my colleagues Trenton Weaver and Kaylee Padova and Stephen Renner for helping lead that initiative. I also built bridges, as promised, with civic and business leaders throughout the community and advocated for new opportunities and smarter policies in
Thanks,
Gahanna.
Marissa. It's about time to pass on.
All right. I look forward to serving you in the next 4 years. Thank you.
All right. Betty Collins, opening statement.
Good evening. I am Betty Collins, and I'm running for Gahanna City Council. I made the decision to run for council as I love our city, and I believe that citizens should have representation from a leader that uses common sense approaches, has a heart and concern for the community, and always asks, is this good for Gahanna? Our city is unique and extraordinary and on a good path, but are we really living up to its potential? Are we at our best? I think we have a lot of work to do, and I'm willing to do it. As a councilwoman, I would focus on representing you. I would represent on your ideas and your thoughts, representing you to ensure that you have your services and your amenities that you paid for, and assure that the budget and tax dollars are there to deliver those services and amenities. From administration to city hall to council and the schools, we need to be in sync for you. And all of Gahanna is entitled to excellent representation, and I want to be that for you.
Thank you, Betty. Now we'll move on to Nancy McGregor, opening statement.
Thank you. My name is Nancy McGregor. Closer?
Close to your mouth.
Closer,
There
okay.
you go.
My name is Nancy McGregor, and I've lived in Gahanna for over 40 years. We've had 3 children and 2 grandchildren graduate from Gahanna High School, and we still have 5 grandchildren within the Gahanna system. I've been active in many volunteer activities over the year with the Historical Society. I'm currently the bed and breakfast chairman. That means I take all the reservations. I get to greet the guests, and I get to clean up after they leave. They also, one of the neat things is in the last few years, I've really been able to direct them to a lot of our activities we have here and the many restaurants they can walk to from the bed and breakfast. I've appreciated serving the citizens of Gahanna. This is my end of my 4th term, and I would appreciate your vote this coming November.
Thank you, Nancy. Jamil Jones, go ahead with your opening statement.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for being here. I'm Jamil Jones, candidate for Gahanna City Council. I am an experienced leader in both the corporate and nonprofit sector, skilled in strategic planning, financial management, and relationship building, all skills that I believe are crucial to fulfilling the duties of a city council member. My goal tonight is that when you leave, you know and understand that a vote for Jamil is a vote for fresh perspectives that are more representative of our diverse community. A vote for me is a commitment to prioritizing your needs over my own agenda or any special interest, and ensuring that I bring your voices to the decision-making table. It's also a vote for building a community for all of us that is safe, accessible, and promotes the quality of life that each of us deserves. Above all of that, I love Gahanna, and it is an honor and a privilege to have this opportunity to serve you in this community that I call home.
Thank you, Jamil. All right, and then we'll move on to Ross Goldsmith. Your opening statement, please.
Like this, right? Good evening, Gahanna. I am Ross Goldsmith, and I am a good government geek with a game plan for Gahanna. I have spent the better part of my career building good public policy designed to lift families, make better investments in small businesses, help support economic inclusion for communities, and I am here to talk about a government game plan that I know can help Gahanna move forward. It calls on us to envision, invest, and build a better Gahanna for us all. What I mean by that is I want us to take the step that we have not done yet under the city's leadership and envision a holistic, comprehensive strategic plan that guides the future of the city. We have done many different plans. It's time to create that plan that will help us then move to invest in the opportunities that we know we need here in Gahanna and build the community for all of us. So again, my name is Ross Goldsmith, and I'm asking for your vote. I'm the good government geek with a game plan for Gahanna.
Thank you, Mr. Goldsmith. Okay, I'm going to take that mic back from you. We're going to move on to our first question of the night, which will just move one seat down. Betty, you'll be the first one to answer the question. And the first question is, what is your top priority once you take office?
My top priority would be that we would ensure that you're represented and that you would have the services and amenities that you pay for, and that there would be a budget to support that. That is priority. The second would be making sure the police and safety are at its fullest. So those are my two biggest things that I would look at. The other thing is I think we need to have more dialogue in our city. I think that we need to have more discussions in our city. This is not an R, a D, or an I. This is Gahanna. This is a diverse community, and we need to come together in that. So my priorities really would be about representing the people, representing you, whether you are in my group or not, or whether you are different than I am. It's about Gahanna. I believe that we need to be more into coming together and in sync at all levels. I just don't think we're there.
Thank you, Betty. All right, same question for Nancy. What is your top priority once you take office?
I think my top priority would be to continue spending our tax dollars wisely. When issue 12 was passed in 2019, it really gave us funding to do so many things we were not able to do. One year, in about 2008 or so, we didn't do any street repair at all. But with this funding source, we've been able to do strategic planning, and we just passed a capital improvement plan that actually lays out for the next 5 years the projects that need to be done. And with issue 12, we now have a funding source. There's no money appropriated with that plan, but it does lay out how the dollars would be spent over that time. Doesn't mean those are the only things we'll do, but I think spending the tax dollars wisely and increasing our maintenance, our police safety will be the top priority.
Thank you, Nancy. Jamil, same question. What is your top priority once you take office?
Yeah, my top priority would be ensuring that we have innovative solution when it comes to communication and transparency and educating all of our residents. We are a diverse community, and that means lots of different communication needs, communication preferences, beyond email, beyond newsletters, literally and figuratively meeting people where they are. And that means ensuring that in that communication that we are representing all parts of Gahanna and that we are not taking those few folks that show up often and taking them as the representative voice of the entire community. That means if people aren't showing up in front of us to meetings or forums, that we're going to them in whatever way or whatever avenue that means. We are a community. I really believe in all of us working together for the communities that we need. So that means that we need each of those voices, and we have to be innovative and intentional about getting the perspectives of all residents.
Thank you, Jamil. And Ross, same question.
So, as I mentioned about my good government game plan, what I envision is a Gahanna that is united through a common purpose with a strategic plan. One of the most important things we can do is take the number of different plans that the city has adopted in the last few years, whether it's the capital improvement plan or the parks master plan, and unite them around a vision that will guide the future development of Gahanna for the next decade. It's the most important thing we can do because this community needs a strategic vision. What that will also guide is our ability to create those investment opportunities that will help Gahanna bridge the gap, make the future jump. We do know that this area is going to see population increases over the next 30 years that are going to impact everything, and we need to be strategic as a community. And like Jamil said, meeting people where they are, being creative in how we find people and reach people. I've knocked doors since May, and we've talked to a lot of folks. So, thank you.
Thank you, Ross. All right. And last but not least, Marissa, there you go. Same question. You want me to repeat it, or what is your top priority once you take office?
Yeah, thank you. Of course, sound financial management and transparent budgeting is a top priority of all council members. We need to ensure that when we are engaging in economic development deals, that those numbers support the city and support the goals of our community. Secondly, holistic safety. I've been proud to fund expanded public safety services, including a mental health liaison and a community liaison. Since 2020, the GPD staff has added 7 sworn officers, and I've been very proud of how that public safety growth has occurred under Chief Spence. But holistic safety is beyond that. Holistic safety means safe infrastructure for pedestrians and cyclists, and ensuring safety with our students, as they are a huge population that need our attention in our community. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Marissa. All right, we're going to go pass that mic down to Nancy McGregor, and we're going to move on to our next question. Time to talk money. What are your views on Gahanna's budget? Are there items that you would increase funding for, and are there items that you would decrease funding for?
Well, we're just starting the budget process for this year. I think so far the budget's been pretty fair. We have the last 3 years we've had the largest street program in Gahanna's history. We've been able to rebuild streets. We've been able to repave streets. Some of them just got and as we rebuild the streets, we do the sidewalks along with it. We've improved our playground. We've added playgrounds. We've repaved streets. We've added police equipment and training for our officers. So I think that probably just continuing to the budget process as it is will be a great deal. We haven't seen the budget for next year, so I don't really know if there's funding changes I would make right now.
Thank you, Nancy. Jamil, same question. I'll reread it. What are your views on Gahanna's budget? Are there items you would increase funding for? Are there items you would decrease funding for?
Yeah, I think there are 2 things. One is investing in talent. So, I work in the corporate space, and our people are our product, and our people do the work. And so I believe that Gahanna should be a community where you can live and work, and that means increasing some of the jobs. I think that's where we can get to some of our innovative solutions that we need here in the community, so that might mean creating more jobs. But I think taking a look at the budget and seeing where we can divert some maybe underused funds into more staff for the city. The other thing that I would say, as I would say with everything, is that a continued community education. Even myself, as someone who is fairly engaged in this process as I sit before you today, our budget is confusing. It's 208 pages, if anyone has seen it. We need to help our community understand what all of that means, and that means ensuring that they're involved in the process, but that when it's voted on and it's finalized, that we understand as residents what everything in there means and how that shows up for each of us and our families.
Thank you, Jamil. Ross, same question. What are your views on Gahanna's budget? Are there items you would increase funding for? Are there items you would decrease funding for?
Sure.
I actually want to give the city a little bit of credit for the investment that they have been making in human capital. It is important. I'm a good government geek. It is important to have good people in good positions doing good work. And so when we invest in city talent, that is going to help pay off for our city. So I say that. And then I also would say that, you know, the city's approach to the sidewalk program can be better. We have to figure out a little bit more about how we are going to really work for the folks that are not in positions to restructure their sidewalks. And you know, one of the things that folks are not aware of is that it's happening until they get the letter from the city or the bill from the city. So it is about finding them, meeting them where they are, and communicating to them what is going on at City Hall and how we can do a better job of reaching folks and talking through our budget with them person to person every day.
Thank you, Ross. Marissa, same question. I'll repeat it for you. What are your views on Gahanna's budget? And are there items that you would increase funding for or items you would decrease funding for?
Yeah, thank you. In the last couple of years, we've changed a little bit about the budget process, and I think it's gone pretty well from a council perspective, but certainly we have room to continue to improve. There are 4 items. One, continuing to invest in human capital, and not just in terms of salary, but also benefits. I've been a proponent for comprehensive health insurance benefits for our employees over my term, and I will continue to advocate for comprehensive health insurance benefits for our employees going forward. Secondly, you've heard everyone here talk about expanded communication. We need to do that through adding some staff to council office to assist with council-directed communication. I would like to see that in the coming budget. Third would be investing in our in sustainability initiatives, including the street tree program. And fourth would be continuing to invest in direct resident services. Thank you.
Thank you, Marissa. Betty Collins, same question. What are your views on Gahanna's budget, and are there items you would increase funding for, or items that you would decrease funding for?
The budget is as good as the economic development that we have in the city. It is as good as the people that are living here and working here. And so all funded through, of course, our tax dollars. So we have to make sure that we have a plan that isn't just year to year. It needs to be thought through in 3, 5, and 10 years. And it has to be thought through for the benefit of your services and your amenities that you're paying for. And it has to be fairly spent and balanced. The other thing that I would really look at for sure, and I have looked at, is services first, infrastructure, and you do that by good talent. You have to have a good payroll, you have to pay people. We don't pay people as well, and believe it or not, as other cities do. We don't have those benefits. And so I would look at that, and those things are first. But because I guess I'm a business owner, infrastructure and city services and talent are paid for by tax dollars, and that really comes from good economic development. And so that's where I would want to really focus on.
All right, thank you, Betty. And let's go to pass that mic down a couple people there to Jamil, and we're going to go on to our third question for the night for the City Council. Do you believe that bringing low-income housing to Gahanna should be a priority? And if so, how would you go about doing it?
Yeah, so we've all heard tonight how the population in Central Ohio is growing, and what that means is that we have to have housing for a lot of diverse ranges of income, diverse families, and that's going to mean, we know that we can't build single-family homes, that we've got to grow up. That could mean low-income housing, and I do think that if we're going to be a community for all, that is something that we have to consider. In terms of how we do that, I think we can look at some of the things that the city of Columbus is doing. They have issued some fair housing legislation and affordable housing that works for the people, and they have represented the people in doing that, and I'd like to see similar opportunities and similar initiatives here in Gahanna.
Thank you, Jamil. Ross, same question. Do you believe that bringing low-income housing to Gahanna should be a priority, and if so, how would you go about doing it?
So we do have to be forward-thinking by investing in opportunities that help create a sustainable future for everybody. And we have to acknowledge that things as seemingly simple as streetlights, sidewalks, sidewalk repairs, and the updated zoning codes are actually issues of access, affordability, and equity. We have to think about how we can be strategic in creating more opportunities for infill, but also find ways to add to maybe like accessory dwelling units. The city of Columbus has had some success with that. Those are opportunities that I see that do exist and that are easy, low-hanging fruit. When it comes to building more affordable housing, I am 100% in favor of trying to be as creative and as supportive as I can of all families, of all incomes, and making sure that we are being diligent in how we bring that about for all the residents of Gahanna.
Thank you, Ross. All right, Marissa, same question. Do you believe that bringing low-income housing to Gahanna should be a priority, and if so, how would you go about doing it?
So, as we heard from the mayoral debate earlier, MORPC estimates over 3 million residents in our region, and that was before the Intel deal was announced. We need housing for all levels of residents. And one of the things that I'm most proud of for my first term was leading and passing with a 6-to-1 vote a comprehensive fair housing ordinance that included source of income protection and a pay-to-stay provision. This will help ensure the stability of households, families, and residents in our community, and ensures that we have a mixed economic community. Something that we've heard from all of our candidates tonight that we're proud of. We're proud of the socioeconomic diversity here. And in order to do that, we should continue to protect and ensure that residents have a home and that they're safe. Thank you.
Thank you, Marissa. Pass the mic to Betty. Same question. Do you believe that bringing low-income housing to Gahanna should be a priority? And if so, how would you go about doing it?
Residential housing is a priority, period. We are already under, we don't have enough housing here now. So how do you really deal with it? It's a bigger problem and it's a hard problem. And where do you deal with expansion? So it's a bigger conversation. Of course, it's a priority that everybody can live and live affordably, right? But how do we do it is a bigger task. And we are already short housing, period, in the area and in the region. So to me, it's not a simple question, and there's not an easy answer. But if we want to have a community that is diverse, we want to be fair, we want to be balanced, we want to give everyone opportunity, that's a definite. But how do you do it? How do you make that easy answer? And it takes a lot of groups working together to do that. So yeah, housing is a priority, period, and the right housing as well. So that would be mine.
All right, thank you, Betty. Nancy? You want me to repeat the question, or have you heard it enough times? I'll repeat the question. Do you believe that bringing low-income housing to Gahanna should be a priority, and if so, how would you go about doing it?
I guess I think that Gahanna has had diverse housing for many years. We have starter homes up to very expensive homes, and I think that one way we can do it, let me go back. Starting from World War II, after the soldiers came home, we had neighborhoods like Royal Manor, College Park, many of those neighborhoods developed then, and to provide homes for the soldiers coming back. I think that because we're largely built out, I think one of the ways we strengthen our housing is by keeping up our zoning codes so that we have, the properties that we have are well maintained. We did this like with the sidewalk program to help maintain our houses and our properties in our neighborhoods. Some of the lower income houses that came asked for lots of variances in order to build, and lower income housing still needs to have adequate parking, adequate open space, and adequate setbacks, and I guess I would not support it in that way.
All right, thank you, Nancy. I forget where we started. Jamila, did you get to answer that question already?
I did.
You did. Okay, so now we're going to start with Ross with our what will be our final question for our city council tonight. So Ross, it's a good question. How do at-large city council members work with and cooperate with ward city council members?
That's a great question. So I, again, am a good government geek, and I have written my thesis in college about the effects of ward and at-large representation. One of the things that wards are really successful at is making sure that the street issues, the really important issues at the street level are focused on, and the city council at-large representatives have the ability to kind of take that holistic look at what you can do for the city. So working in tandem and understanding the needs of certain areas, but also always having that capability to kind of view at a higher level the needs of the growth of the city. Both can work together to really create that strategic envisioning, long-term comprehensive strategic plan that we need in Gahanna to really guide us.
Thank you, Russ. All right. You guys want to just, yeah, I'll just grab it. It's quicker. All right, Marissa, how do the at-large city council members work with and cooperate with ward city council members?
Yeah, oh, this is such a great question. So it has been an absolute pleasure to work with my colleagues on city council. And when we are on the dais, there is no distinction between who's a ward rep and who's an at-large rep. We're all your council members, and we all take all of your considerations and the entire city's needs to heart when we're making decisions. And I see three of my ward colleagues here tonight, and it's just been a true pleasure to work with them. Typically, one of the ways that it works on the ground is that if a resident reaches out to us, to any one of us individually, we would refer it to the ward rep and possibly work on the issue with the resident with the ward rep that where the resident lives. And so it really gives you that opportunity to have an at-large member and a ward member knowledgeable about the issue that you're facing, and then all of us working together to address it. Thank you.
Thank you, Marissa. Betty, same question. How do at-large city council members work and cooperate with ward city council members?
I'm glad you said that, Marissa. There shouldn't be a big distinction. It should be all together. There's 7 people that represent the city, the residents of the city. I never say anything in less than 1 minute, but that's really simplified, right? We're all in this for Gahanna. We're all about it. And if there's a ward that needs help, you should be helping. If there's another ward that doesn't need maybe, or you step in. Again, it all comes back to Gahanna. There shouldn't be a distinction between that.
All right, thank you, Betty. Nancy, same question. How do at-large city council members work with and cooperate with ward city council members?
Okay. Well, I guess you look at this, every resident has 4 representatives. They have, in specific, they have a ward representative and 3 at-large because we represent the whole city. So lots of times it will be more of a local issue that a ward councilman might look at. But overall, sometimes people just bring issues up to us. They might bring it up to a ward councilman. But once we're elected, we're really all working for Gahanna. And so that's what we try to do, is to service all of our Gahanna. Some people might feel more comfortable talking with one committee or council member than another, and that we all work together to solve the problems. And I think that it's really a great system, because when you're all at large, nobody seems to be responsible for an area. But having ward committeemen, you have each ward committeeman has a specific area that they're sort of responsible for, as well as the 3 at-large candidates. So it really gives good representation for every citizen in Gahanna.
Thank you, Nancy. And Jamil, same question. How do at-large city council members work and cooperate with ward city council members?
Yeah, so we have spent a lot of time knocking doors, and it's interesting, as we knock on doors, people say, oh, are you my ward rep? And it's a great conversation to be able to say, we represent the entire city. I look at the wards and at-large, it's a collaboration. It's all pieces of the puzzle. As Nancy said, each resident here has 4 people that can represent them. You might have a more personal or relationship with your ward person, but then that at-large, I look at it as sort of the ribbon or the bow or the bird's eye view that can tie all of the individual sort of ward perspectives together. All of it is in the best interest of Gahanna and the best interest of the residents, and so it's important that all of those continue to work together and we blur the lines of the ward, but I do think it's important for residents to feel like they have at least that one person that they can go to, but then you have the benefit of having those 3 others as well. But it's all about working together and doing that together as a team.
All right, thank you, Jamil. All right, with that, we are going to move into our final closing remarks. So I'm going to move it back down here to Marissa, and you'll have 1 minute to make your closing remarks. Go ahead.
My Gahanna story started over 10 years ago. In 2012, we bought our home together. My husband and I bought our home together. after looking all across the region, and we really felt like Goldilocks. We had found the perfect community to start our family. And we continued our Gahanna story again when we chose Creekside to get married, and we continued our Gahanna story again when my parents bought a house just a couple blocks away from us, and we brought our son home from the hospital. And that commitment and investment and belief that Gahanna is such an incredible place to raise a family, build a business, create art, celebrate our community has what's driven me in my first term in service to all of you. I look forward to continuing to represent, advocate, and listen to each one of our residents in my second term if I am so lucky to be elected. Thank you.
Thank you, Marissa. Betty Collins, closing remarks.
I would be honored if you voted for me, and I would be committed to serving. This community is something I've been a part of for over 20 years. My husband and I raised our kids here. As a small business owner, I've been part of the chamber in the CIC of Gahanna. The relationships, though, and the neighbors who I do life with are so vital. And I'm fortunate to be part of a community through my church, New Life. But are we at our best? Are we on the right path? And would you like to see change? I would love to be part of assuring that we are at our best, that we are going forward on the right path, and that we drive positive changes. And most importantly, representing you. I want to make sure that our uniqueness is preserved, and we make progress. Why should you vote for me? I'm invested in Gahanna. I'm a proven leader, and as a CPA and business owner, I can bring strong financial background. But integrity, commitment, and striving for excellence have been the pillars of my success, and I want to bring that to City Council. Thank you for being here and listening, and it is my hope that you would vote Betty Collins.
Thank you, Betty. Nancy, closing statements.
Thank you. I want to thank the League of Women Voters and the Gahanna Chamber for hosting this event. If I am reelected, lucky enough to be reelected, I would like to continue to our program of chipping away at long deferred maintenance of our roads and bridges and buildings, parks, everything almost. Also, I would like to continue to provide our police with adequate equipment to do their job, to provide a safe community for us, and to provide advanced training for them. And also I'd like to increase our service department, provide funding for them to operate the engineering and utility departments. I think that we're on a good path with the passage of issue 12. We're on a good path. Our capital improvements plan is setting us on a good path for the future, and I'd like to be there to continue that effort.
Thank you, Nancy. Jamil, closing statement.
First, I just wanted to thank everyone again for being here. I'm one of those folks that believes that it takes all of us working together to build the community that we want. So you being here is such an important part of our civic engagement process. When I first landed in the Gahanna area 6 years ago, I thought it'd be a temporary stop. But this place has a very special place in my heart, and it is where, when I envisioned what I wanted for my family, Gahanna is it. So much so that I convinced my mom to move here from the beach. That's how much that we love this community. She moved to Ohio from the beach, y'all. Thanks, Mom. I am committed to serving this community. I already do it today as part of the Fair Housing Board, the Civil Service Commission. I represent parents on the School Board's Equity and Access Committee. I believe that I was born to serve, and I look forward to the opportunity to do that in this role. I do really hope that if you want to learn more about me, check out JamilForGahanna.com, and again, Jamil Jones for Gahanna City Council.
Thank you, Jamil. And Ross, closing remarks.
I also want to thank the Chamber and the League of Women Voters and all of you. It is incredible to have this amount of people here who are invested and care this much about their community. So my heart is full tonight from that. Our community needs a re-envisioning, and we need a plan that welcomes everyone, puts our shared values squarely at the center of our policymaking. By being proactive and creative in our communication, we can rebuild confidence and re-engage our neighbors around this initiative. We can build a community for all that encourages, connects, and supports the needs of our residents, the success of our businesses, and the future of our city. And good government should be a partner in that effort. My wife Leah and I moved here intentionally after we had our daughter Hilly because we wanted a community that she could grow up in, that celebrates all of our residents, provides them with the support they need to thrive, connects us together as that community for all. Again, my name is Ross Goldsmith. I'm a good government geek, with a game plan for Gahanna, and I would appreciate your vote.
How about a big round of applause for our city council president? You guys are officially dismissed from the table. We are actually ahead of schedule a little bit, so we still have our school board race, but before I call up the school board, we are just going to take like a 3 or 4 minute break, a little intermission. So this is your chance. If you need to hit the restroom, grab a bottle of water or a soda, do that now. And in a few minutes, I will be calling everybody back to your seats. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if we can take our seats again, please. Let's go ahead and take our seats. If anybody's listening, go ahead and take your seats. Almost finished. Let's take our seats and we'll finish this program up tonight.
Are you next to me? I didn't know what order to put in. Yeah, I think they did it alphabetically.
All right, folks, let's go ahead and have a seat. I love the conversation, but we need to have a seat. Everybody have your seat. We're going to continue. It's a lively group tonight.
Paper and things written on it. I know, girl.
All right. All right, take your seats if you have not already. Love the conversation. You guys are a tough crowd to calm down. We have one more candidate race that we are going to have tonight, and that is of our school board. So thank you to each of you for being here. We have Burl Brown, Pickle Antonio, Daphne Morin, raise your hand, Cynthia Lampkins, and John Dooley. And we have a total of 82 questions for you guys tonight. So we should be out of here by breakfast.
Speak for yourself, Daryl.
No, really, we just have 5 questions for you guys tonight, but we're going to do the same exact thing that we've done with every other race. So, Burl, you are going to be our first person to do opening statements, and when you're finished, you'll just pass the mic on down.
Okay. Good evening. Thank you, everybody, for hanging with us through this long forum. Thank you first to the League of Women Voters and to the Gahanna Chamber of Commerce for hosting this event. And again, thank you to all of you who are here in person and any of you who are watching online. Local elections help shape our communities. They are who we are, and they determine how we live together. My name is Burl Brown Pickle Antonio, and I'm asking you to re-elect me to our school board.
Thank you, Burl. And you can pass it. Are you done? Oh, you're done. That sounded like the end of a statement. So, carry on. Let's put 15 more seconds on the clock. Go ahead.
We stopped. Where was I? 34 seconds.
Thank you.
This will be my last time moderating.
I'll try to be clear about when I'm done. So I will always put students at the forefront of every decision that I make. They are the why that I serve. I am a trusted leader who has kept the promises that I made when I was elected
and then reelected. And I am a fierce advocate for public education because it is how we fulfill the promise of the American dream for all of us. Please vote to reelect Burl this November. Thank you. That time I'm done.
Now you're done? I'm afraid to talk. I do apologize for that. I just really thought that was a wrap up. So, John, you'll have 12 seconds as well. Opening statement from John.
Thank you so much for coming. My name is John Dooley. I've been living here in Gahanna for 9 years. I'm married to my wife Heidi, and I have 3 children in the Gahanna school system. I'm here to represent safety, transparency, and bridging the gap for the parents and the teachers. If you will, consider me on November 7th, and please vote for me.
Thank you, John. You are done, right? Okay. All right. Cynthia.
Good evening, and I would like to say thank you to the Women League of Voters and to GAC for hosting this event this evening. To give you a little bit of information about myself, I have been married for over 14 years to my husband, Aaron. We are a blended family of 6. I am a foster parent and have been for over 20 years, and I've advocated for more than 25 foster children in my career, or my experience. I have 3 biological children which have attended Gahanna Lincoln High School. I work for the city of Gahanna in the finance HR department. I have experience ranging from processing payroll to processing processing budget items and union contracts and payroll taxes, and then also ensuring salaries and benefits are accurate. My desire for the Gahanna Jefferson School District is to focus on those core subjects: keep parents informed, children safe, teachers and administration respected, and as I concentrate on making Gahanna Jefferson one of the top 50 schools in the state.
That's legit. That was actually, I needed to cut you off.
Well, I just noticed other people had a little bit more time, but it's fine.
Well, no,
it's good.
Okay, and Daphne.
Good evening, and thank you to the League of Women Voters and the Gahanna Chamber for hosting tonight's event. I am Daphne Mooring, and I'm asking for you to re-elect me to the school board. I am firm in my support of public education, our strategic path, and our facility improvements. I have been a member of the Finance and Facilities Committee since its inception in 2016. I've chaired it 7 of the 8 years, and I believe that continued leadership is critical as we complete our long-term projects. Also, my husband and both of our daughters are proud graduates of Gahanna Jefferson Public Schools, and our family is thankful for the dedicated teachers and staff of the district. I welcome the opportunity to continue leading this incredible district.
Thank you, Daphne. All right, with that, I'm going to bring the mic down here, and this time, John, you'll be starting. And our first question for the school board tonight: do you have any concerns about the fiscal well-being of Gahanna schools? If so, what are they, and how do you propose to address these issues?
Yes, I think that with the new building project, I believe that they have over budgeted slightly. Of course, Gahanna is a growing community. The school is growing with the influx of people as presented earlier. And of course, the expansion is needed. But I think we need to be more transparent with that there's going to be a shortfall and that there is going to be another levy needed.
Okay, thank you, John. I'm going to pass the mic to Cynthia. Same question for you, Cynthia. Do you have concerns about the fiscal well-being of Gahanna schools? And if so, what are they and how do you propose to address the issues?
Yes, I do have some fiscal concerns about the Gahanna School District. Unfortunately, with the COVID year hitting in 2020 and the facility plan being implemented before 2020, the school district is experiencing, of course, the increase in construction costs. And so therefore, with that being said, there is going to be less funding for the process of building the new facility. And so I'm hoping that in the future with the Gahanna School District that we're able to speak with the treasurer and make sure that we're able to have a budget that will be adjusted if needed. And hopefully, if it's needed, it's in an area that will not impact the students in their learning.
Thank you, Cynthia. And Daphne, same question. Do you have concerns about the fiscal well-being of Gahanna schools? And if so, what are they and how do you propose to address these issues?
So as I said, I've been the chair of the Finance and Facilities Committee for 7 of the last 8 years. And we meet monthly. Everyone is invited. We do a deep dive into both the Master Facilities Phase 2 financial picture as well as the operating budget for the school district. We have the benefit of locking in. They mentioned the interest or the funding coming right at COVID. We locked our debt in at 2.7% interest rate. And with the rising interest rates and the money we have not yet dispersed, we are doing very well on our interest revenue. So I have not the concerns that they have. We will come in at budget. We have value engineered, but it has not at all diminished the value of the building. Our operating budget is strong. With the state, we are always concerned.
Thanks, Steph. All right. And Burl with a full minute. The question is, do you have concerns about the fiscal well-being of Gahanna? And if so, what are they and how do you propose to address the issues?
Thank you. So I first want to say very clearly, there will not be another levy on the ballot to finish the building projects that were promised by the levy that all of you helped pass in 2020. We have been on top of that process, as Mrs. Mooring just described, and the projects will be completed. There will not be another levy on the ballot to finish those projects that were promised in the levy from 2020. The second thing that I want to say is that I do actually, I guess as I said at the beginning, I am a fierce advocate for public education. The way that public education is funded in this state is incredibly hard on our local communities, particularly our older residents. And the expertise and knowledge that I have had in navigating that legislative process has helped us to have a voice, to advocate for that funding so that our community continues to be diverse in all ways, including our older residents.
All right, thank you, Burl. All right, go ahead and pass it down to Cynthia. All right, thank you for answering that question. All right, question number 2. You ready, Cynthia?
I'm ready.
Gahanna City Schools has a diverse population with students who have different educational needs. How would you ensure each student feels safe, valued, and respected? How would you provide equitable educational opportunities for all students? It's a multifaceted question.
It is a
Do you want me to repeat it?
Yes, please.
Okay. Gahanna City Schools has a diverse population with students who have different educational needs. How would you ensure that each student feels safe, valued, and respected? And how would you provide equitable educational opportunities for all students?
So I truly experienced the issue with students coming in. My foster children that come into the district, generally they do not have the curriculum experience that the students have in the building. And so they're behind in their education. Some of them haven't attended schools in the 6 months or the beginning of the school year. And so my goal is to help students be able to have a program in place that will be able to assist them when they're struggling. Even students that are excelling in school can help the students that are not excelling in school. So that is my ultimate goal, to help the students if they're struggling.
Thank you, Cynthia. Daphne, same question. To be fair, I'll read it twice. It is a long one. Gahanna City Schools has a diverse population with students who have different educational needs. How would you ensure each student feels safe, valued, and respected? How would you provide equitable educational opportunities for all students? Do you want me to repeat it? Or?
No, I've got Thank you. I think when you're talking diversity, you're talking about learning approach, English as a second language, and as well as just the differences in where they come from, as Cynthia alluded to, and what they bring to the classroom. We have an amazing staff, and we have dedicated many resources to support the ESL students, our remedial education students, and just supporting our staff to meet them, each student where they are. They take the time to understand what they are bringing to the classroom, the skills, and then to figure out a plan to bring them up to speed. And we got a 5 stars in our academic progress. So I think we're doing pretty well in that front.
Thank you, Daphne. And Burl, same question. I'm going to get you the mic here. Here's the question. Gahanna City Schools has a diverse population with students who have different educational needs. How would you ensure each student feels safe, valued, and respected? And how would you provide equitable educational opportunities for all students?
Thank you. So I am a mom of 3 Gahanna students who are each pretty different from each other. I am incredibly proud that in the 8 years that I have served on the board, our focus has always put students at the forefront of every decision that we make. We have set the policy, and our staff has worked incredibly hard to make sure that student safety and well-being is top priority. So some of the things that we have already done in the district, some of them you may know about, some of them you may not. We have increased our mental health specialists in our building. This year, for the first time, we have a cell phone policy that is consistent in our buildings, grades K through 12, where there is no usage of cell phones during the school day. We have added safety vestibule. Oh, sounds like I'm stopping. Sorry.
Thanks, bro. Yeah. All right, John, same question. Yeah, a minute is not a whole lot of time. Gahanna City Schools has a diverse population with students who have different educational needs. How would you ensure each student feels safe, valued, and respected? And how would you provide equitable educational opportunities for all students?
The first thing starts in the household. I also have 3 children, and each one of them are different. And so we approach each child where their need is. And so in the same fashion, in the schools, you find out what the need is of the child, and then approach and meet them there. So the programs, again, as Daphne said, the teachers are excellent, the programs are excellent, but as the school continues to grow, the diversity is growing, and each need has to be met and not ignored.
Thank you, John. All right, we'll move on to our next question. So we're going to pass the mic all the way down to Daphne. You'll be our first person to answer question number 3. Why is public education important to you, and why is it important to the community?
I believe that public education is important to me because that was the only option I had growing up in Jackson, Ohio, which is a very small town in southern Ohio. And it's the same situation that I think I saw a statistic that like 70% of students don't have any other option. So public education is the norm that America was built on, and it is the foundation for the trajectory of each student's life. It also then impacts our community, our economic vitality, employability, so it is all wrapped together.
Thank you, Daphne. And Burl, same question.
You're getting your exercise.
I know, that's why is public education important to you and to the community?
So as I said, public education is how we actually go about fulfilling the promise of the American dream for all. In Ohio, 90% of our students go to a public school. It is the education that is available to every single student in this state and in our community. And so it is how we as citizens fulfill that promise of making sure that every single one of them has an opportunity to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. I see that timer going down again, so I'm going to talk faster. It's important for our communities because it is how we ensure that our community members are healthy, they are thriving, they are able to continue to contribute and make our community the place that all of us want to be and live. Thanks.
Thank you, Pearl. Gahanna, same question. Why is public education important to you and to our community?
Public education is important because it is where our community grows. We need the public education to be consistent across the board so that not one area lacks behind. And so the public education has to be demonstrated and also extended to each member so that it's available for everyone.
All right, thank you, John. And Cynthia, same question. Why is public education important to you and to the community?
Public education is important to me because it helps our children learn and grow into successful adults. Public education is free, and so parents do not have to be concerned about paying for their education. Public education is a source that will take our students to that next level of their choice of education, higher learning. And so it's very important. It's very important for our children to grow, to thrive, to understand processes and to understand the core subjects so that they are successful.
All right, thank you, Cynthia. All right, we're going to move on to question number 4. If you guys just want to pass the mic down to Pearl, we're going to start with you again. And this is question number 4. How will you balance input from parents, teachers, students, and the community when making decisions as a school board member?
Thank you. So as I said at the beginning, I have kept the promises that I made when I was initially elected to the school board. And one of the foundational promises that I made as a parent of kids in the district who was working full-time outside of the house, had a husband working full-time outside of the house, running my kids to all of the activities. One of those first promises that I made was that I wanted to make sure that our community had a clear ability to participate in our school board meetings, to participate in our district. I was very interested in increasing family engagement and transparency. And so when I came onto the board, one of the first things that we did is that we added committees. We had not had committees before. We added video recording of meetings. We had not previously had video recording. We have kept those things throughout, and we have continued to listen to feedback from the community and add additional ways for our community to engage with us and us to engage with our community. Thank you.
And John, how will you balance input from parents, teachers, students, and the community when making decisions as a school board member?
I believe the parents are the first tier, and then the teachers are the second tier. And so the balance would be considering the source, the parents, and then bringing the teachers in behind that. And then as a community, make the decisions as a whole. Without the parents being on board, it becomes like it's a blind, you're kind of fighting blindly as you're developing the children. And so the parents must be involved, the teachers must be involved, and then we bring it together as a community.
Thank you, John. Cynthia, same question. How will you balance input from parents, teachers, students, and the community when making decisions as a school board member?
Well, I think it's very important that we make sure that we include our parents and they are transparent in every situation and circumstance that involves their child. I think it's important that the teacher communication and the parent communication happens on a regular basis. I think it's very important that the board will make sure that at board meetings, committee meetings, coffees, and the such, that, and the like, that we make sure that we are informing our parents and making them aware of what's going on with their child. I think that's very important.
Thank you, Cynthia. Daphne, same question. How will you balance input from parents, teachers, students, and the community when making decisions as a school board member?
So the question has an assumption in it that I want to address first. It assumes that we have gathered the information from all three of those with which to balance. And I do seek out information from different groups and stakeholders when I don't have that information and I think it would be valuable to making a good decision. So sometimes it's the people that are silent that actually have the most to share in a scenario, and if they're not asked, you don't get that information. So I regularly, my Kroger visits, when people ask me about schools, I engage, I encourage people to call me, email me, but by gathering data and information from all three groups.
All right, thank you, Daphne. We only have one more question for you guys before we do closing remarks. I believe we're at John starting now. Last question for the night for the school board is, how do you propose to address potential book ban issues that come before the school board? That's a good one.
I think as far as book bans, am I on?
I think so. Just hold it real close to your mouth.
Okay. As far as book bans are concerned, all the books and literature that are in the school libraries need to pertain to the education of the children. So new doctrines and new ideologies that come in that differ off of general education need to be banned from the schools. We can't be afraid to say no to some things. Some things need to be banned. And so when you're bringing in items that jeopardize the safety or even the mental health of the children, we need a book ban.
Thank you, John. All right, Cynthia, same question. How do you propose to address potential book ban issues that come before the school board?
Well, I think it's very important that we make sure there are age-appropriate books in the schools. I believe that sexual orientation or sexual instructions should definitely not be in the schools. I think that's the parents' job to have those conversations with their child. And so definitely they need to be age-appropriate books. Or even if a parent would have the ability to make sure that if a book is in a library and they don't want their child to read a particular book, that they have the opportunity to make sure that they do not have access to those books.
Thanks, Cynthia. And Daphne, how do you propose to address potential book ban issues that come before the school board?
So the policy that Cynthia mentioned of a parent being able to opt out for any literary work is already in place, and that should continue and be communicated better if others don't know about that. As far as book bans, the school board hires a superintendent, and currently ours has a doctorate in educational pedagogy, and so she is the person that would be assessing a book for its use in our district, and we just have to establish the values, and it needs to be age appropriate and it needs to be content appropriate for our student population.
All right, thank you, Daphne. Earl, same question. How do you propose to address potential book ban issues that come before the school board?
you. So we have incredibly well-educated and talented educators who are the first, the first people who make the decisions about the kinds of materials that we have in our classrooms and in our libraries. These people are very well-trained, well-educated, and I trust that when they are making decisions about the kinds of materials they are recommending, that they are making those recommendations with the best interests of students in mind. As I said, students come first at the forefront of every decision that we make, and the one thing that I do want to make sure that I say, when we're thinking about books and curriculum, it is critical that every single student in our district is able to see themselves so that they feel part of our communities and so they are able to learn.
All right, thank you, Earl. We're going to pass it down. All right, so before we wrap up, we're going to have our closing statements from each one of you. So Cynthia, we'll start with you. You've got 1 minute for a closing statement.
As we all know, Gahanna Jefferson schools are important to this community. If elected as member of the Gahanna Jefferson School Board, I will ask in-depth questions about the master facility plan, policies, and programs. I will make initiative plans to help both students who are struggling and excelling. I will encourage the proposal of mentorship programs funded by grants to help reduce negative behavior. I will implement an in-house mentorship program utilizing our very own students who are excelling to tutor students who are struggling, hoping if incentives are offered, they will be interested. Budget season gets tough for any entity. I believe we can together find creative solutions to address those challenges. I'm hoping with a new perspective, we can find some cost savings initiative in the future. I ask for your vote on November the 7th. Thank you for your time this evening.
Thank you, Cynthia. And Daphne.
Thank you to all who came out tonight to hear about the candidates. I thanked the organizations at the beginning, and I should have thanked you. I am Daphne Mooring, and I ask for your vote to continue serving on the school board. The district has played a big role in our family. Looking back, some of my favorite memories are volunteering in our schools or for our schools. Looking forward, we will have a new high school in the fall of 2025. Very exciting. I believe that strong public schools improve the economic vitality of our city and region, and as well as improving the lives of each student. The future is bright for our district, and I ask to continue as a leader and encourage you to go to votefordaphne.com to learn more.
Thank you, Daphne. It's the last time I have to do this. Pearl, closing statements, 1 minute.
Thank you. My name is Pearl Brown Pickle Antonio, and I am asking for you to re-elect me to our school board. As I have said, I will always, always put students at the forefront of every decision that I make. I am a trusted leader who has kept the promises that I made when I was elected and re-elected. And I am a fierce advocate for public education because it is how we fulfill the promise of the American dream for all. I believe in the power of our staff and our schools to be partners with our families and help every single student achieve. Public education and a caring and wonderful teacher truly changed my own life. I am committed to delivering the highest possible quality of education for all the families of the Gahanna Jefferson School District. Please vote to re-elect Burl this November. Thank you.
Thank you, Burl. John, closing remarks.
I want to thank everyone for coming out, the League of Women Voters for having us. I was drawn to this community years ago. My wife and I, we moved to Gahanna, and the diversity was here, the balance was here, the friendship, you could feel it in the community very early on. And I've also been drawn to the trees that are here, and we need the trees to make the air. And so going forward, I like to be on this school board to add some masculinity to it, to add some diversity to it. So on November the 7th, vote for John Dooley, school board, Gahanna.
All right. Well, can we get a round of applause for our school board?
Today is my birthday. Yeah, it's so.
Before we wrap up, if you are here tonight with the Ohio League of Women Voters as a volunteer for this event, would you come on up here? And if you are a volunteer with the chain, oh, come on, come on. Newell, Karen, come on. These are our timer duo right here. These two ladies kept everybody on the track. Elizabeth, they might have left. All right. Well, I just want to say thank you to each of you for helping out. You know, these events don't get done well unless we have a lot of people helping out. So big thanks to all of you. Huge thank you to all of the candidates who took time out of the night to be here. Thank you to all of you for taking the time out of your night for being here. I did want to let you know, and I want you to share this information with anybody that you may know, your neighbors. There is going to be a recording of this event, and it will be on the Ohio League of Women Voters Facebook page, and then eventually it will be on the Gahanna Chamber page as well. So if anybody missed it, and somebody says, "Oh, I wish I could have been there," make sure you let them know you can view it. They can look at it. We urge all of you to make a voting plan. Early voting starts October 11th. I know Elizabeth already alluded to this. And election day is November 7th, so please check the voter guide at vote411.org for a list of candidates. Thank you all so very much for being here. Have a wonderful night. Drive safe.